According to the internet, Daniel Martell is a criminal mastermind who outsmarted a whole team of major crime investigators. According to Daniel Martell, the internet true crime community has the critical thinking skills of a potato. There are conversations that follow a straight, logical line, and then there's Daniel Martell. To enter Daniel's vocabulary is to strap yourself into a psychological roller coaster that travels through police interrogations, Pokemon evolutions, highly questionable mathematics, root vegetables, a literal rainforest, and eventually the very meaning of human survival. It all started after I sent him episode 6 of The Invisible Investigation, a docuseries that I have been working on. For months, Daniel had given me the silent treatment. He was ghosting me with the pure, unadulterated commitment of a man who had truly moved on. But this time, the floodgates didn't just open, they ruptured. And having solemnly announced his absolute final retirement from speaking out, Daniel immediately proceeded to speak out. Spectacularly, in fact, for at least the next hour. You see, Daniel has a major grievance with the internet true crime community, and his frustration stems from a deeply hilarious contradiction in how the world portrays him. On one hand, his critics constantly mock his intelligence. They mock his language, his typos, and his inconsistencies. Yet, Daniel pointed out, these exact same critics simultaneously believe he is an absolute genius who has successfully outsmarted experienced major crime detectives, cutting-edge digital technology, months' worth of data, and 2 separate polygraph tests. Daniel, I know you used to be into Pokemon, so please appreciate this metaphor. The internet keeps trying to force you to evolve. 1 minute, you're a basic stage Pokemon being mocked for phrasing a sentence badly, and the next minute, bam. All these morons thinking I'm guilty actually think I'm more intelligent than a whole team of major crime officers. Well, and honestly, Daniel, fair point. If the world is going to insist you're stupid, they really need to stop giving you superpowers. Then came Daniel's definitive statistical analysis of the situation. He messaged me this exact formula. World population equals 100%. Average is 50%. Now, I choose not to audit Daniel's mathematics, mostly because I value my own sanity, but also because 2 seconds later, he delivered something much better. He looked at the entire online true crime community, the comment section experts, the armchair detectives, and he officially downgraded their humanity. He said the true crime community has the critical thinking skills and problem-solving skills of potatoes. Potatoes. Absolute poetry. But before those internet potatoes even had time to sprout in my inbox, Daniel abandoned agriculture entirely and became an entire ecosystem. Now, the first time I read that, I have to admit I laughed out loud, because comparing yourself to a clear cut in an Amazon rainforest is objectively one of the most dramatic, magnificent entrances into a conversation anyone has ever made. But if you look closely at that spectacular, ridiculous metaphor, something surprisingly heavy starts to emerge. Underneath the drama, Daniel was saying something real. He feels like people have taken jagged little pieces of him. An angry interview, a bad day, a contradiction, a typo, and clear-cut his life into a shape he no longer recognizes. And he's terrified of his own children finding that digital wreckage online one day. The rainforest metaphor is absurd. The grief behind it is not. Then Daniel dropped a line that completely shifted the temperature of the room. That word, love, it changed everything. Because a few moments later, I asked Daniel a blunt and terrifying question. I asked, do you actually believe Lily and Jack are still alive? Daniel didn't hesitate. Look at how his earlier comment about being a stepfather suddenly sounds different. Daniel doesn't use the past tense. He doesn't look at a legal document and say, I was technically their step-parent. He says, I raised them. I love them. Our kids were brothers and sisters. And then Daniel gave me a rare glimpse behind the curtain. Followed immediately by and right there the humor ends. Because I had asked Daniel a question about what he believed happened to Lily and Jack. But what he actually explained was why his soul cannot afford to contemplate them being dead. Chaos. His word. Daniel wasn't giving me a theory on a case. He was telling me what he needs to believe every single morning just to protect his own mind from a darkness he is not prepared to survive. Hope has a job to do in Daniel's life. Its job is to keep the chaos outside the door. And maybe that's why he fights so hard against the word stepfather. He doesn't want a 4-letter prefix to measure the depth of his love for 2 children he says he raised. Whatever anyone in the true crime world thinks of Daniel Martell, that is the human being underneath the headlines asking to be understood. And of course, right after that beautiful, profound moment, Daniel was done. He swore he was never messaging me again until 5 minutes later when my phone buzzed and a text popped up. Here I go again, breaking rules in messaging. At least by that point, he was self-aware. And then come perhaps the most definitive Daniel Martell sentence of the entire conversation. Susan, just because I say dumb stuff a certain way doesn't mean I'm not intelligent. You see, Daniel started off the entire conversation by saying he wasn't going to message me. And at least 3 to 4 times, he said that he was done. In fact, at the end of every message, he said goodbye. But thankfully, he came back and provided more. You know what, Daniel? You are entirely right, because you take the most scenic, chaotic route to a thought I have ever witnessed. You will drag a person kicking and screaming through a literal rainforest just to make a point. But a strange delivery doesn't mean there isn't something profoundly worth hearing underneath it. Underneath the anger, the exclamation marks, the potatoes, the spectacular metaphors, there's just a man who loves Lily and Jack. A man who raised them, who believes in them, and who refuses to say goodbye to that hope. Nothing in these messages solves the mystery. Their story remains agonizingly open. But because of that, the possibilities remain open too. And hope is still one of them. So, Daniel, thank you. Thank you for answering my question when you didn't have to. Thank you for making me laugh. And thank you for trusting me with the parts of your heart that aren't funny at all. And Daniel, for the record, the rainforest was magnificent. Thank you for your time, and I do truly hope this is not goodbye. If you want to help keep me uncovering the human stories behind the headlines, hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so you never miss an update. Drop a comment below. What do you think about Daniel's use of the word chaos? Let's talk about it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next investigation.